For centuries, what was holy has been called evil. What was divine has been slandered as monstrous. And those who protected humanity were branded as its destroyers. But the truth never died. It was buried, rewritten, renamed. In this video, we return to the truth, to the demons, the esoteric guardians of our races. Before the Vatican, before the rabbis, before Abraham even had a name, there were the demons, divine spirits, guardians, not monsters, not curses, not Hollywood phantoms, but beings of light and intelligence who stood between man and God. The ancient Greeks, the Egyptians, the Indo-Aryans all knew this. They wrote of it clearly, if one has the eyes to see. The word daimon in Greek, never meant demon in the Christian sense. It meant divine intelligence, a mediator between the mortal and the divine. Socrates openly admitted, "The demon that is with me always warns me against doing anything that is not right." Plato, Apology. The philosopher spoke of this spirit not with fear, but with reverence. It guided him, protected him, kept him from error. Hesiod, in Works and Days, tells us the people of the Golden Age became demons after death. But after Earth had covered this generation, they are called pure spirits dwelling on the earth, and are kindly, delivering from harm, and guardians of mortal men. These were humans who had lived well, who were elevated, not punished. They were given the role of guardians of the living, not as some punishment, but as divine promotion. This same system is echoed in Egypt. In the pyramid texts and the Book of Coming Forth by Day, the gods are surrounded by Netjeru, spiritual intelligences, sometimes described as invisible intelligences or hidden companions, who help guide the soul through the afterlife and assist in divine work. These are demons by another name. In the Vedic tradition, the concept of the Pitris, ancestral spirits who became divine guides, is also present. In Rig Veda 10.14, the Pitris are called upon to guide the soul on its journey. These are not monsters. These are protectors, uplifted souls, intermediaries. They represent what the later world sought to erase, the idea that divinity can be cultivated, attained, and walk beside us. Plotinus, the Neoplatonist, wrote this clearly. The demons are living creatures of a particular kind. They are beautiful. They cannot witness magic with indifference. They can employ it. They take revenge. Enneads. He also said, "But it is better not to call any being in the intelligible world a demon. We should call it a god." This is not theory. This was the doctrine of our ancestors. The Golden Age became the Demon Age, and the demon was not something to be feared until the enemy came. To destroy a civilization, you must first destroy its gods. But the ancient gods could not be destroyed, so they were renamed, and the titles of divinity were inverted into curses. This was not an accident. It was a systematic operation of cultural, spiritual, and psychological warfare, waged by those who sought control over man's soul, not just his body. In the Catholic Encyclopedia, under devil worship, it openly admits, the Greeks and Romans may have worshipped their divinities, fondly believing them to be good. But the Christian scriptures declare that all the gods of the Gentiles are demons. Catholic Encyclopedia, 1909, entry, devil worship. So what was divine was now called demonic. Not because it was evil, but because it was not Jewish. The philosopher Thomas Hobbes, not even a theologian, admits this historical reversal in Leviathan, Book 4. The Greeks, by their colonies and conquests, communicated their demonology into Asia, Egypt, and Italy. But the Jews did not attribute the name Daemon to both good and evil spirits, as the Greeks did, but only to the evil. To the good demons, they gave the name Spirit of God. This deliberate relabeling laid the foundation for the Abrahamic machine to brand every non-Hebrew divinity as evil, while raising their own tribal spirits as the only holy ones. Consider Baal-Zebul, meaning Lord of the Heights, a title of royalty, power, and sky kingship. The Hebrews, in mockery, twisted it into Beelzebub, Lord of the Flies, a divine solar being reduced to filth in their tongue. This tactic was universal. In Egypt, Set, a god of storms, strength, and chaos, is vilified after the Hebrews settle in the land. In Greece, Pan, the horned nature god, becomes the visual model of the devil. And Satan, whose name literally means adversary of the oppressor, becomes the enemy of man rather than his liberator. Their gods were too powerful to erase, so the enemy reversed the polarity. They put demon masks on divine faces. Porphyry writes in Vita Plotini, the life of Plotinus, when the Egyptian priest summoned the demon of Plotinus in the temple of Isis, a god appeared instead, and the priest cried out, "Blessed are you, for your demon is not a low one, but a god." But the world would never be allowed to know this. Because if man knew he walked with gods, if he knew his guardian Daemon was divine, then no empire could own him. So the old rites were erased. Temples burned, statues shattered, names cursed, and the demon, the liberator, became the demon, the monster. This is the great inversion. The church never hid this. They boasted about it. They openly say, "We cast out the gods of the Gentiles. We burned their idols. We crushed the altars." And the same spirits that once guided kings, poets, warriors, and healers became the nightmare creatures of medieval art. But what they feared wasn't darkness. They feared the light that walked beside us. They feared the demon. Forget everything the world taught you about the word demon. In the ancient world, a demon was not a monster. It was a living, thinking force of divine intelligence, a guardian. Demons are not just metaphors, nor projections of psychological shadow. They are beings, sentient, conscious, eternal. They are the bridge between gods and mortals, and they exist within the hierarchy of divine order. In the Greek world, Socrates never acted without his daemonion, his personal spiritual guide. It always turns me away from what I am about to do. It never compels me, only warns. Plato, Apology. This was not superstition. This was spiritual technology. The demon was a personal force, assigned or aligned by destiny. It grows closer as the soul advances. It reacts to ritual, character, truthfulness, and intent. Magic, in its original form, was a dialogue between mortal and demon. A science of resonance, where the soul is tuned to spiritual forces and receives energy, knowledge, or assistance. In the Chaldean oracles, we read, "Invoke not the visible image of the demon, but the fire of the demon, for this is the immortal intelligence that guides all." Chaldean fragment. These fires were described as divine lights, beings of solar, stellar, and etheric force. They communicated through vibration, dream, and direct energetic feeling. Later, Neoplatonists like Iamblichus taught that the urgy, the highest magic, required alignment with one's personal demon first. The demon acts as intercessor between the soul and the divine gods, clearing obstacles, organizing destiny, and elevating the soul toward gnosis. This is why they are feared. Not because they are evil, but because once the soul makes contact, you are no longer a slave. This is the spiritual law. He who awakens his daemon awakens the god within. The true demon is not external. It's the living divine spark that resonates through a sentient, eternal being, assigned or drawn by your soul's structure, karma, and path. And yes, there are many. Some remain with you always. Others appear only in moments of crisis, initiation, or ritual. But their message is always the same. Remember what you are. Rise. They are not here to dominate you. They are here to restore you, to guide you back to your rightful inheritance. They are the esoteric guardians. The greatest secret of human history is not hidden in some underground vault. It's not locked behind elite bloodlines. It's right in front of you. The truth about who your protectors really are, and who tried to take them from you. They didn't burn temples just for conquest. They didn't ban ancient languages just for nationalism. They did it because the ancient religions, Greek, Egyptian, Vedic, Chaldean, Sumerian, all had one thing in common: divine intermediaries, demons, spirits who empower the soul and speak to it directly. The enemy couldn't allow this. If a man can contact his guardian, if he can draw real spiritual power, if he can walk in alignment with the divine hierarchy, he cannot be enslaved. He cannot be gaslit with shame. He cannot be controlled by guilt. He cannot be silenced by fear. So what did they do? They replaced the demons with priests. They replaced the gods with God. And they replaced personal power with obedience to dogma. Instead of being guided by your demon, you are now told to be guided by a priest. Instead of seeking ascension, you were taught to seek salvation. Instead of climbing the ladder of theurgy, you were told to confess your sins and beg for forgiveness from your oppressors. The Vatican, the rabbis, the imams, they do not teach spiritual elevation. They teach submission. And this wasn't just religious, it was political. In Dionysius of Halicarnassus, we're told that even in Rome, the state would not elect rulers without divine omens from Jupiter, the highest god. Authority came from spiritual sanction, not from laws alone. This is what they had to sever. So the demon was renamed Demon. The inner fire was branded dangerous, and the gods of light were cast down as monsters. Why? Because the demon doesn't need permission. The demon doesn't ask Rome, Jerusalem, or the Council of Nicaea for spiritual legitimacy. The demon speaks truth directly to the soul, and truth is dangerous to lies. That's why they say, beware of the occult, it will deceive you. They mean, beware of truth, it will free you. And they're right. The real demon path does destroy illusions. It breaks false beliefs. It shatters the artificial morality that keeps man crawling and weak. It restores divine memory. And once you remember, they lose all control. This is the real reason the old ways were demonized. Not because they were evil, but because they worked. The time of exile is over. The silence has been broken. The demons are calling again, and the path is open. But only one organization on this earth is restoring it properly. Only one, the Temple of Zeus. We are not a school of superstition. We are not a cult of belief. We are the commanded arm of the ancient gods themselves. reawakened by their will to restore the sacred connection between the soul and its divine guardians. The demons never abandoned humanity. Humanity was torn away from them, but the temple of Zeus has stood against that. Where others quote tradition, we resurrect it. Where others speak myths, we invoke reality. Where others debate symbols, we channel the power behind them. In the sermons, in the rituals, in the daily spiritual exercises, the temple of Zeus brings you back into contact with your guardian. This is not fantasy. It's a living, guided experience. Thousands have already returned. Hundreds of thousands are awakening. This is not new. This is the oldest religion in the world, now restored in its most pure and militant form. All ancient religions, the Greeks, the Egyptians, the Vedic, the Sumerian, the Norse, they all spoke of spiritual intermediaries, demons, guardian spirits, and divine contact. The Temple of Zeus has gathered their teachings, removed the corruption, and revived the rituals that work. We are not here to debate. We are here to advance. We are not here to beg the world for approval. We are here to break the chains of ignorance and fulfill the mission entrusted to us by the gods themselves. The high priest has said, "There will be no salvation from false saviors. The only salvation is power, real spiritual power, and returning to the original divine system." We are the only religious movement with a proven and functional system of ascent. We are not theorists. We have thousands of written sermons. We have meditations, mantras, rituals, magic, sacred philosophy, and the guidance of real spiritual forces who respond. This is not a fantasy. This is not a belief. This is commanded reality. The demons are real, and they are waiting for you. But they don't answer to the world's churches. They answer to Zeus, the true Father. And through him, they answer to us. The Temple of Zeus is not an idea. It is the arm of the divine world on earth. And we are not here to entertain. We are here to awaken. The Temple of Zeus does not exist to ask for your attention. It exists because the gods demand your return. This is not optional. The time has come. You will either rise with your guardian or be lost to the system that stole them from you. You were lied to. Not once, not twice, but for lifetimes. The veil was placed over your soul the moment you entered this world. Your name was erased, your guardian sealed, and you were told, "There is no one out there watching over you." But the lie is crumbling. You are not here by accident. You did not find this path through luck. Your demon brought you here. And now, the veil is lifting. All around the world, souls are waking up. They feel the burning in their chest, the ache in their bones, the knowing deep in their mind. Something has always been there. Something sacred, a presence, a fire, a voice that doesn't come from outside, but from within. And that is your guardian. The enemy told you not to trust it, to fear the fire, to ignore the signs. But the ancient world knew. The demon is not a threat. The demon is your birthright. You are not alone in this world. You were never alone. You were simply disconnected. But now the veil is lifting. The Temple of Zeus is the gate through which this truth now flows. We don't sell comfort. We don't preach hope. We deliver reality. The teachings, the practices, the revelations, All of it returns you to your divine alignment. This is not about tradition. This is about spiritual survival. Because those who do not reconnect will fall. The world is becoming more unstable, more chaotic, and more lost. And only those who walk with the guardians will endure. The demons are not a theory. They are not a religion. They are the architects of your destiny. You have a duty to your soul, to your ancestors, to the future. Join the temple of Zeus. Train, meditate, study, restore your connection, and rise. We are over 80,000 initiated and protected under the same flame. We walk under the gaze of the gods. We are not waiting for the world to understand us. We are here to conquer the lie. The guardians are watching. The gods are returning. And you are being called. Will you answer? The demon speaks rarely, but never falsely.